Welcome, everyone. I am so glad for today because at the beginning of the summer, I had one of the most interesting requests show up in my LinkedIn. I am so glad for today because at the beginning of the summer, can you all hear me? Okay, good. So one thing that was very interesting was that in my LinkedIn inbox, I got a request from a client, an employee at a client site, who said, "I'd love for you to talk to my daughter." And it sounded like we had a lot in common. And I'll allow Carly to tell the rest of the story. But long story short, Lively Paradox had an intern this summer. And I was really excited because it was the first time that we had someone of her caliber who was also in the college age range working for the organization who wasn't my child. And so it was very nice to have some youth and vitality in the organization. And I think the entire team would say the same. And thank you very much, Ashley Sharif, who is the director of design, who's joining us here today. And I will not talk anymore. I will turn it over to Carly.
Thanks, Nicole. I've had such a wonderful time, and I'm so lucky. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully we can get this PowerPoint up here. All righty. So this is my internship and review. I've had such a great time. Like Nicole said, this is a new thing for me too. So I wanted to introduce myself. And hi, I'm Carly. I'm pursuing my mechanical engineering degree at Kansas State University. Go Cats. I feel like people can really get to know who you are by what you care about and what you advocate for. And some of the things that I enjoy and put my energy towards is human rights and environmental rights. Human rights meaning whether it be LGBTQIA plus or women's rights or Black Lives Matter rights, and then environmental rights, just how we can be better human beings on this planet and preserve and help climate change. So with that, I started a club, and I am co-president and co-founder of the Sustainability Club at Kansas State University. And I feel like it's made a really big impact and given me a lot of tools that I used for this internship this summer. So I felt like that was very important. And then finally, I have a big heart for my family, friends, and animals. I have a little puppy Cliff at home, and he holds a little place in my heart. So next, right away, one of the things that I learned from Nicole is really understanding your core values. And you can apply these core values to finding a job, to about anything that you put your energy and walk through life with. So I've never really defined my values until meeting Nicole, and I put some thought into it, and here are my values. So sustainability, obviously this can mean with environmental reasons, but also like I want to create a product or service that will stand the test of time. And that is all wrapped up in sustainability, especially when using materials that can harm the earth and harm people around us. So sustainability is something that I am a big, huge carer about. Secondly, open and honesty. Since I was young, I have never been able to tell a lie. All my emotions are on my face. Whether that be a good or bad thing, I don't know yet, but it is something that I've walked my 21 years with, and I will continue walking with honesty and openness, whether that is to advocacy or anything in my job. I really want people to trust me, and so open and honesty is my second value. My third value is balance. This is something I'm striving towards, And anybody in the audience can probably relate. Growing up, you learn a whole deal about balance. And with this world changing every second, it's really important for me to feel stability. And through inner peace and inner balance is how I find that stability, whether it be meditation or taking some time to be by myself. But balance is really, really important to me. And wherever I choose to place my energy in my career, I would really look for balance and where I can find and section out different times for myself and for others and have it all wrapped up with a bow on top. So balance really, really is something that I strive for and look forward to. So that is my third core value. So like I said, the world is ever changing. In my 21 years on this planet, this year has really been a doozy. So I was, like Nicole said, I was at home. I was sad because my engineering internship went to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I wouldn't have any work to do on Tuesday, Thursdays, and I was feeling a little hopeless. There was a pandemic going on, protests going on for Black Lives Matter, and I know George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor was on the minds and hearts of a lot of people in this world, including myself. So I picked up the phone, I called Nicole, and we had a wonderful, wonderful chat. And I pleaded for a job. So here we are. I got the job, and we'll go over a little bit of what I've been doing over this 2020 craziness summer. So I would say the main thing that I've been doing is branding Nicole D. Price herself. So this is different from Lively Paradox. I got a job with Lively Paradox, but Nicole tasked me with separating herself through social media from Lively Paradox to Nicole D. Price, the brand. And I did that through Instagram primarily for the social media. So I got with Ashley, who's on the call with us, and she helped me a ton understanding and creating this editorial plan here shown on the right. So what we decided was to break up her brand into categories and create an aesthetic. The aesthetic here shown has a pattern aesthetic, so you can see that there is quotes, words, and then there's pictures, whether it be her, the community, old photos. So on the left here, I have the different categories broken down. So Move the Ball Monday and Filter Free Friday, you can see circled here is this video where Nicole herself speaks. For Move the Ball Monday is just kind of a tidbit of knowledge to start your week off and think about while you navigate through your job, your relationships. And then Filter Free Friday is probably the post that I think viewers would most love to see and hear, and that is Nicole being herself and sharing her thoughts and views unapologetically herself on Fridays about a specific topic that's going on in the news. So then we have tweets. Tweets are becoming really popular on Instagram for the aesthetic, and a lot of highly trafficked profiles use this as a marketing tactic. And so we wanted to hop on that bandwagon and do that also for Nicole. So we have the sophisticality is shown that we are her Instagram is something that a lot of people would want to traffic to. Third is quotes. So Nicole lives on quotes. She will give you the best quotes from the best books. So quotes needed to be present for her brand. As you can see here, the one circled is in a different format than the other ones. So that shows is the lighter colored one is from quotes from other people, and the darker colored ones is quotes from her. So those quotes specifically will tie into the promotion of her upcoming book, and those will just be little messages from the book or different things to get people excited to read it. So next is selfies. So everybody has to have good selfies on their Instagram. It is an Instagram staple, and Nicole is a phenomenal selfie taker. So we had to get those in, and I feel like it just shows your power, your womanhood, anything that really just sparks who Nicole is shown in a selfie. So those had to be a part of it. Next is old photos. So this is another way that we're navigating her promotion of the book. A lot of her upcoming book, spoiler alert, is personal. So these photos will just go along with the stories that she effortlessly writes in her upcoming book. And so people will really get to know and picture the stories that are going to be in her book. And I feel like that is super special to have in her brand on her Instagram as well. And then finally, we have the community and books, sorry. So books, Nicole is very well read, and her library behind her is amazing. So books is something that is really important to Nicole and had to be shown in her brand. So this way readers can read the book with her each month, and maybe she can talk about it. And I think that's a very engaging thing from Nicole to her viewers. And then finally, community. I like to call Nicole the Oprah of Kansas City. She is out and about all the time, and that had to have been represented because it is a big, huge part of who she is. She really gives back to the people around her. So that needed to be there for her in my vision for her brand. So what I learned, So what I learned from, oh goodness. We're gonna go here and present. So what I learned from doing her Instagram, to truly create a brand, you have to really understand who they are. I was thankful to get the time to get to know Nicole. And from my opinion, I feel like her brand on her Instagram truly reflects her grace, uniqueness, and passion. I also got to help make content for the Lively Paradox brand, and I found it harder to put myself and create the content that really reflects the brand. So that is something that I've learned moving forward. If I ever get a job in the future with creating people's brands, is to really understand who they are and what they're about, because it truly reflects in one, how easy it is, and two, people will pick up on it. So I really learned a lot through that experience. The second thing that I did was have these every other week coaching sessions, I would call them, with Nicole. So I was able to meet with her every other Thursday, and I would pick her brain, whether it be leadership questions, personal questions, Black Lives Matter questions, or engineering questions, because that's something that we share together. And Nicole will be there through it all to coach me, and I can truly say I have grown so much this summer. Another part of this is she would let me sit in on her many calls that she would get from people in the community and people that she coaches. And I was able to listen with a stronger ear and really understand where my pitfalls were and where other people's pitfalls were. So I can use that knowledge that I've learned over this summer to, whenever I'm a leader, to really close that gap. So what I learned with this this part of my summer was the top 3 things were: number 1, words matter. So I have always been a big talker, so I've never really thought about my words, and I didn't really understand how much words really do matter. Like I said, I listened with a stronger ear, and you can hear people's internal biases. Words reflect messages that you maybe not want to get across. And from now on, I'll be slower to talk and really be careful on the words that I choose because they truly do affect people. The second thing is a little bit more personal, that careers can change. I'm going into my senior year in engineering, and I've always felt a little bit out of place with engineering because my personality is outgoing and spontaneous, and it's not really the personality fit for engineers. But through this summer and talking with her, I really am at peace with going into my senior year. Yes, I'm going into engineering and I'm finishing my degree, hopefully, and then graduating and probably getting an engineering job. But later down the road, that may change and I may choose to do something else, and I'm okay with that. The third one is to read. So I've expressed lots of gratitude and inspiration that I've gotten from Nicole to read. And boy, has reading like this summer really made a difference on my learning. And I hope that others who follow Nicole and through her Instagram really understand and get that message that reading can really make a difference. So that is another thing that I've learned. So like I said, I got to read a couple books that Nicole referenced to me, and I finished White Fragility in about 2 days, and it was mind-blowingly awesome. And then I'm in the middle of reading Stamped from the Beginning. These two books have really made an impact on my learning this summer, and I would encourage anybody to read them. The second thing I want to talk about is this quote here in the middle: think before you speak, read before you think. So this has really came to fruition for me, and I think it redefines the common phrase, think before you speak. There's many people right now, especially people my age, being like, what do I do in this whole Black Lives Matter? I don't know how I can make a change. Well, maybe reading a couple books and really understanding history that we weren't taught in school is a good first step. And a lot of people are going to their friends and family and asking questions, where that is good, but I really feel that it can be even better if you come to the table with knowledge from other people that's out there. There's so many books out there that answer your questions that maybe might burden someone coming to those questions. So I have a couple quotes here. This one is from Stamped from the Beginning. Enlightenment ideas gave legitimacy to this long-held racist partiality, the connection between lightness and whiteness and reason on one hand, and between darkness and blackness and ignorance on the other. I was really into Enlightenment theory in high school and wrote a couple papers about it. And to really hear what Enlightenment, the commonalities that it had between lightness and whiteness and reason, and the contrast to darkness, blackness, and ignorance was something that really opened my eyes. And it's really fueled this passion that I have to change history in high schools, to really bear it all out on the table and to really understand where different feelings came from and what these people and who wrote the Constitution, who wrote laws, what they were actually feeling during this time. So I think that that's really important moving forward. This next one is from White Fragility. How can I say that if you are white, your opinions on racism are most likely ignorant when I don't even know you? I can say so because nothing in mainstream US culture gives us the information we need to have the nuanced understanding of arguably the most complex and enduring social dynamic of the last several hundred years. This was big to me because I know, myself included, and a lot of people my age consider themselves woke, and I even thought that of myself, but to really take a step back and understand that there is many pitfalls that I have, and there's many pitfalls that we all have. And what we have to do is really understand where our internal biases are and how to use our privilege moving forward, especially if you are white. The third one is from Stand from the Beginning. In Jefferson's vivid imagination, lazy Blacks desired to sleep more because more than whites, but as physical servants, they required less sleep. A lot of the knowledge in Stand from the Beginning really knocks down a lot of stereotypes that we still have today. And this was many years ago, but the stereotype is there still today. So I think it's really important to understand where these stereotypes and racism prejudices happened back in our history. So this has been a big, huge lesson that I've learned over this summer. So what I've learned, like I said, think before you read before you think. And secondly, my view on education of Black Lives Matter for myself has changed. I feel like reading and really understanding and going back and looking at history in a different light has been super beneficial to me and to my education. And other accomplishments that has happened this summer was I created a outline for the cultural responsive rubric that Nicole will use. I created a podcast outline and we recorded one podcast. I wish we could have done more, but only 2 days a week did not give us the time. And finally, personal growth. I have really grown this summer, and all thanks to Nicole and the Lively Paradox team. And then I've had the best time and learned a lot. So thank you for listening to my internship and review, and thank you to Nicole for giving me this opportunity. So I'll open up to questions if anybody has any questions, but thank you for listening.
So Carly, I do have questions. Thank you so much for putting the presentation together and formalizing kind of the end of your internship. My question is really around, you are an engineering student, and students in general who are in college are always trying to make sure that the resume has things on it that they can use. What do you feel your experiences this summer did to help kind of build your resume?
Well, just getting a internship in something that wasn't engineering, I feel like makes me more of a well-rounded person in part. And then also, the world right now needs culturally responsive people. And for me to be able to be coached by you every other week has really built my cultural responsiveness. And I feel like that is something that I can take to my job in engineering and really push the boundaries on a field where it's mostly white males. So I think that that's going to be really beneficial and helpful in my engineering career.
Okay. And then Ashley, I don't know if you have any questions or not, but I have one last one for me, and that is, like, are you grateful that you made the call? Because you had to be nervous. You had
Yes.
to be nervous about calling someone you didn't know and asking if you could work with me.
Yes, oh my goodness, beyond grateful. I call you a friend now, you know, like I've had so much gratitude in my heart, so much love in my heart for you and for this company. And I've continued talking about it with my friends. I've put it on my social media. I've talked with my family members, and everything that I've learned this summer has really made an impact on my life. So yes, I'm beyond grateful. And I encourage many people to reach out to Nicole because she's totally changed my life.
Well, they should know that you were going to work for free. I'm not a fan of work for free. So I did pay Carly, but one thing that helped me know that you were incredibly serious is that you said you would be willing to do an unpaid internship. But I'm not a fan of unpaid labor. So
I did have a question. Carly, I just want to know how your conversations with friends, past friends, family members, again, kind of that circle of people that you had before, and then having your internship, and then now going to those same people and having new conversations with them in light of your enlightenment and further research and development and learning and books. How have those conversations changed? And then have there been any kind of like, not severed ties, but it's almost like, wow, again, personal growth in a different direction, and kind of just being able to just to sort through and see those
Yeah.
differences and how they exist.
I think there's been a couple of challenging conversations that I've had with family members or adults in general, and they've all came around. So that's the thing, is that people in the beginning are a little bit defensive when you challenge them. I mean, I feel like that's very common for anybody, and everybody has came around in the end, because I've shown that I'll be here and I'll be honest. Like, I'm wrong in many scenarios too. So I feel like that has been really helpful. Just offering up the books that I've read has been really helpful. And then what I've noticed is that more friends reach out to me, knowing that I've been in this place for this whole summer. So that is also something that has changed in the past couple of months.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you. And I do think that my personal Instagram is a lot more polished since it has had your eye on it. And as you said, next week not next week, definitely here soon, I am releasing a personal book to launch my professional speaking part of my business as an individual. And I'm super excited for the work that you've put into it, because it's given me a nice foundation to build on. So thank you. Thank you so much. And then I don't know that we could replace our creative director on the Lively Paradox side of the business. She's just so good.
She's so good.
Just so good. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you, to Ashley Sharif for the amazing work that you did in offering Carly a little bit of direction on the creative side, because I absolutely would not have been able to do that. So thank you all very much for your time. And thank you, Carly, for appeasing me. Did you have to do a end of summer presentation for your other internship?
No, because I'm continuing working over school.
I gotcha. All right. Well, pleasure having you.
Thank you.